Hello everyone. So the next topic which we will be going to discuss is about the transpiration. So let's start with the first slide of transpiration. What is the definition of transpiration? The loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant, especially leaves, in the form of water vapor. So this is known as the process of transpiration. So the driving force of transpiration is the difference in water vapor between the leaf airspace and the external air. High vapor pressure between the leaves air spaces and the external air increases the transpiration. So it will increase the transpiration process. It occurs through the stomata, cuticles or lenticles of the plant. So it is termed as, so it has been divided into three parts, that is stomatal, cuticular and lenticular transpiration. So the types of transpiration are three. Then this is a figure which is representing the how the process of transpiration takes place. So first is when the water is absorbed by the roots. So these are roots and the water droplets are being shown in the figure. So water is absorbed by the roots. Second, the second label it is here which is depicting the water travel through the plant. So it will travel to the plant and it will be circulated in all the parts of the plant, to the stem, to the leaves and everywhere. And in the third part, which has been labeled water vapor lost from the leaf pores in the transpiration. So this is the process of transpiration and how the process occurs in the leaves of the plants. And then as I have discussed that there are three types of transpiration: cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. So we will be discussing each of these in detail. Let's start with the first, cuticular transpiration. So cuticle is a layer of wax-like covering on the epidermis of the leaves and herbaceous stems. So this is the cuticle. It is mainly composed of wax and cutin. So cuticle is mainly composed of wax and cutin. Cutin is the principal constituent of the cuticle. It is a polymer which consists of long chain hydroxy or epoxy fatty acids that are attached to each other by the ester linkages. So they are attached to each other by the ester linkages and it is meant to check the process of transpiration. So some water may loss through it. So the loss of water in the form of water vapor through the cuticle layer is known as the cuticular transpiration, and it accounts for about 5 to 10% of the total transpiration by the plants. So it accounts for 5 to 10% of the total transpiration of the plants. Then what is about the lenticular transpiration? What is a lenticle? So lenticle is an opening in the bark of stem and roots that allow gases to be exchanged between the atmosphere and the inner living cells of the plant. So this is the lenticle. So what happens is when there is a loss of water in the form of water vapor through lenticles, it is known as lenticular transpiration, and it accounts for only 1 to 5% of the total water loss by the plant. So it accounts for 1 to 5% of the total loss by the plants. Next is stomatal transpiration. When the loss of water in the form of water vapor through the stomata, it is called stomatal transpiration. So first we will understand what is stomata. So stomata are the specialized epidermal structures that are responsible for modulating the exchange of gases between the plants and the environment. So stomata is responsible for the exchange of gases. They act as a turgor operated valves. The primary function of the stomata is to just allow the exchange of gases between the plant's internal tissue and the atmosphere. So loss of water in the form of water vapor through the stomata is called as the stomatal transpiration. It accounts for about 90% of the total transpiration by the plants. So it is the one of the highest stomatal transpiration is one of the highest percentage of the total transpiration of the plants. So it is about the 90%. Next is what are the factors that affect the transpiration. So they are stomata, then there is a boundary layer, there's relative humidity, there's temperature, then the soil water, light and wind. So these are all the factors that affect the process of transpiration. Now, what is the significance of transpiration in plants? So the significance are, first of all, it helps in the conduction of water and minerals to different parts of the plant. So it helps in the conduction process. Due to the double elimination of water from the plant body, there is a balance of water maintained within the plant. So there is a balance which has been maintained within the plant. It also maintains the osmosis and keeps the cells rigid. So it also maintains the process of osmosis. There is a suction force created by the transpiration that helps in the upward movement of the water in the plant. So it helps in the upward movement also in case of the plants. So what happens is there is a certain hydrophilic salts that are accumulated on the surface of the leaves, and it keeps the leaves moist. So it will keep the leaves also moist. It maintains the turbidity of the cells and helps in the cell division. So they help in the cell division also. There is a optimum transpiration which helps in the proper growth of the plants. So it will help in the proper growth of the plants. The cooling effect of a tree is due to the evaporation of the water from its leaves. In addition to the significance, transpiration has few drawbacks also. So what are the drawbacks? That transpiration slows down if the transpired water is not compensated by the absorption of the soil. So it is one of the drawback. It is one of the drawback. First drawback is this. Then a lot of energy is released during the transpiration. So there is a lot of energy which has been released during the process of transpiration. Then there is a plenty of unnecessary water which has been absorbed by the plants during the process. So the plants absorb unnecessary water and it has been absorbed by the plants. So these are few drawbacks which are being depicted here. So the conclusion here is transpiration in plants is a very important and a very crucial process. But in the absence of transpiration, excess water will get accumulated in the plant cells and the cell will even actually burst. So that is why it is an essential process. If the plants also get accumulated, plants also get excess of water and it gets accumulated in the plant cells, the cells will burst. And more than 10% of the earth's moisture is from the transpiration. So it is known to be part of the water cycle. So it is also known to be a part of the water cycle. So it is a very important process. So this was all about the transpiration process in plants. These are some